Hello everyone, it's Emily here from Peach Street Crafts, and I'm so happy to be back with another video of my book album series that I've been doing. If you're new here or you haven't seen one of these previously, I am documenting all of the books that I'm reading in 2023 as a way to hold myself accountable for my goal of reading 33 books this year. So the ones that you see me documenting today are my most recent reads, and they are books number 18 and 19 of my goal. Now, I have fallen behind quite a bit, but I have some exciting news. I have started my master's degree. I've been wanting to go back to school for a long time, but obviously it's not something that's super cheap. And I have been saving up and working hard. And my husband, of course, he's a great motivator, and he wants to help me reach my goal, and he is just the sweetest. So we have been dedicating some money each month to a savings account. So with that being said, obviously a lot of my time and energy is going towards my classes so that I can be successful on my first semester and make sure that it is truly something that I want to do and that I can afford to devote a lot of time to. So I have not been doing as well with my reading. I have been reading a lot of textbooks and a lot of scholarly articles and a lot of essays to review and peer edit, but other than that, I don't really have a whole lot of time for reading, which I think is okay. You know, we ebb and flow life, you know, there's always room for changes, and of course this is something that I'm really excited about, and I do think that once I start to get the hang of things and manage my due dates and time management type of things, be more organized, that I will get back into reading. I know that I'm really itching to read some books that I've had on my to be read list for a while. So I will be getting back into it. Don't worry, we're not done with the series yet. Hopefully there'll be several more episodes before the end of this year, but I'm not going to feel too bad if I don't reach my goal. So the pictures that I'm documenting here on this first spread, I actually have two pictures that are not necessarily related to books that I read, I guess kind of. So the first one is a book haul. And in my city, we have what's called Chamblin's Book Mine. It is so cool. And it is a used bookstore, and it is filled to the brim. Every shelf, nook, cranny, crevice has books in it. And it's such a wonderful place. I love to go and spend Sundays and Saturdays, and I would spend every day there. But it's so much fun, and it's a total adventure. It takes several hours to navigate through all of the sections that I like to look at and to find what I'm looking for. On this particular day, I was super excited because I found all of the books that I went in there for, and they were all used copies, which means that I got them for half the original selling price. That doesn't always happen. Normally, I'm not that lucky. Sometimes I can't find what I'm looking for, especially when they're more popular books that people want to read, or I can find them but they're full priced, or 10% off, I think is what Chamblin's does, but they're only a small fraction of the price when they are used. So I was so happy with this book trip on this particular day, and my husband found a couple of books too, and we got some coffee afterward in their little coffee cafe sort of shop on the bottom floor. So it was just such a fun time, and I thought that I would document that by taking a picture of some of the books that I picked up. I have not read all of these yet, so I have started Death in Her Hands. I really have been wanting to read My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa, what is her last name? Mustaf, I think. I know that it's a foreign name and I'm probably butchering it, but yeah, she's the one that wrote My Year of Rest and Relaxation. If you've seen the cover or heard of the name, you probably know what I'm talking about, but it's a really popular one. However, they did not have it, but I've also been wanting to read this one by her, Death in Her Hands. So I have started that one. I'm about halfway done. And then the other one that I'm reading is the memoir by Mary Karr. It's called The Liars Club. I feel like this book was really popular, like 5 or 6 years ago. I remember hearing about it. It's been out for a long time, but it really revolutionized the way that we write memoirs, especially regarding family relationships. So I'm excited to continue to read that one. It's good so far. And that was pretty much it on that first spread. I'll flip back at the end and show you, but I used some Felicity Jane letters that I've been having in my stash for way too long. Finally got to use some of those up, and I just spelled out book haul on a piece of pink scrapbook paper. And then on the bottom, it didn't exactly work out because I got kind of messy with the tape. I didn't put it in the right spot. So I did just add a little tiny bit of journaling And that picture on the previous page, you kind of see it here. That was a work study book that we had to read this summer, and I just added a lot of annotations and notes on it, and that was called Make It Stick. So it's a lot about testing, assessment, memorization versus application of content. So something that kind of applies to me and my field. So it wasn't my favorite read. I don't really like to read nonfiction, but I thought that I would still document it since I did finish that one this summer. So all right, now we're moving on to my more recent reads. So the one at the top is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I feel so late to the party on this one, but Becca sent me this in some recent book mail, which I will link below if you have not seen that video. And as soon as I saw it, I was really excited to read it because a few of my students have actually read this one and been telling me that I should check it out. Now that I've read it, I know that they should not have been reading that, but, in hindsight, I guess I just didn't fully understand what it was about at the time. But anyways, I really still enjoyed it. It was so cute, and I don't normally love romance or like the enemies to lovers sort of trope, but there was something about this one that was just so heartwarming, and the town that the story took place in was just so charming. It reminded me a lot of my own hometown and some of like the quirky characters. So I definitely enjoyed reading that one. You'll see me add journaling to this little tag here, and these papers are all in my reading album stash, so I'll link that below. Everything's kind of from a different place, so if you're interested, you can check out that video, and I flip through and show you all of the papers and tell you where they're from. So I'm adding some journaling here. I do not end up adding a trim or string to the top of the tag flip until after the video was filmed. So if that drives you crazy, I'm sorry, it drives me crazy too. Please know that I did add some trim to it, and you'll probably see that in my next reading album update. So just added a few things there, and then the book at the bottom is called The Silent Patient. I feel like both of these are very popular reads, which is not usually my bag. I usually read like the underground types, or I have my little list of authors that I love to follow and read their up-and-coming novels, things like that. But I don't know, both of these ones just really stuck out to me, and I feel like I've had friends that have read them that raved about them, so I wanted to give them a chance as well. I did enjoy The Silent Patient as well. I have to say, I was not expecting that twist, you guys. If you don't know anything about this book, it's about a woman and her husband. Her husband ends up brutally murdered, and she is the main suspect in the murder case. However, after her husband is killed, she suddenly stops talking. She pleads insanity, or her lawyer pleads for her because she's not speaking, and she gets sent to a mental asylum to live out the rest of her days. She is blamed for her husband's death, but again, they kind of give her a little bit of slack since she is not talking. They don't understand what's going on, what's wrong, so they assume that it is like a mental handicap or mental disability. A psychologist considers this his, special case that he wants to work on, so he tries to break down Alicia and figure out what truly happened that night. And like I said, the plot twist at the end of this one was pretty crazy, so definitely check that out if you're into thrillers. And that concludes episode 8 of my reading album. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!